Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Adi. So happy to have you here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. So today's case is a really sad one for me. It's cases like these that I feel set back women and men to have the courage to leave either an unhappy or abusive relationship, regardless of the situation. You know, obviously there's always three sides to a story. Obviously it's, you know, his side, her side, and then there's the truth. And this case has gotten so messy, and it just makes me really sad for the children. I mean, obviously the two people involved are no longer here to give or defend their side of the story, and regardless, there's 11 kids that were left without parents, and that's just unforgivable. If you haven't heard about the tragedy that happened to Gloria Zamora. Gloria was a fitness influencer. She was blowing up on TikTok, and she had well over 150,000 followers on Instagram. She would post her workouts, motivation for women, especially postpartum mothers. She really enjoyed, being able to inspire women to better their lives. So Gloria was born on June 25th in Fresno, California. She was 40 years old, about to turn 41, and she was the mother of 6. Now, while doing my research, there was discrepancies as far as a lot of reports were saying that she had 7 children, but then from what I was able to gather, I think she had 6, but when she got with Tomas, her husband, or her soon-to-be ex-husband, he had 1. So that's where the 7 children come in these reports. But she, from what I was able to find, had 6 children. She was first generation Mexican American. Both of her parents were born in Mexico, and her parents actually split up when she was very young. So they moved in with her grandma and uncle to East LA, and she lived there until she was about 16. She went to a Catholic school up until the 8th grade, and she said that her family was very religious. She was raised in a Mexican traditional household, very strict. She would say she felt that the discipline was sometimes too much, and she was the only girl amongst 3 brothers. So if you know the Mexican tradition, it is very sexist. I think it's less now, but obviously, like, if you're going generations back, I'm Mexican American, so I grew up in a traditional Mexican household, and it is very sexist. So basically, the man goes out to work, he comes home, and the woman takes care basically of everything else: the children, the household, cleaning, cooking, washing, everything. So that's basically how Gloria grew up. She said that basically her brothers wouldn't really do anything around the household. It was still pretty strict household, but as far as responsibilities in the household, it was very traditional for Mexican culture. She said that she developed physically very early on, and on the HERIZON podcast, which she was on just a few days before this tragedy, she unfortunately shared that she was S8 as a child. So Gloria became a mother at a very young age. She was only 16 years old when she had her first daughter. She says that she tried to apply for welfare, but they denied her because she was underage. So she had to depend on her mom until she turned 18 and be able to receive government assistance. She went to a school for pregnant teens, and finally, when she turned 18, she applied for welfare again. So she says that her first check was for $500. So she immediately went to the store to buy diapers and clothes and all the essentials she needed for her baby, but she soon realized that she couldn't just be waiting every month for $500. $500 for a teenager might seem like a lot, but if you're a parent, you know that it's very expensive to raise a baby. So she quickly realized that that wasn't gonna cut it. So she put herself through school and she became a medical assistant. Her goal was to become a registered nurse. But at the age of 20, she became pregnant again with her second daughter, and she ends up getting married. She says that a year or 2 into their marriage, she started to suspect he was cheating, and she was just unhappy. She said he was very machista. So again, if you grew up in the Mexican culture, you know what a machista is. A man basically thinking that that women are inferior, so very controlling, very sexist as far as like the role that a man and a woman play in a relationship. So she also worked, and she still had to come home and take care of the kids and the household. And as we mentioned earlier, machista, he would just come home, obviously just go to work and come home. So that was his only responsibility, to provide, and he wouldn't really offer any support for her at home, which if you're a stay-at-home mom, I guess that would be okay. But if you're also working a full-time job in this day and age, it should be split up a little bit more evenly. So at this point, she was pretty unhappy in her marriage, and remember, she had suspicions that he was cheating on her, but being a young mom of 2, she was scared. So she decided to stay in the relationship because she didn't think she could make it out on her own with 2 kids, and she didn't really have solid proof of him cheating. She just thought maybe she was overthinking. So she decided to stay and give it another try. So she ends up getting pregnant a 3rd time with her son. So this pretty much just solidified her decision to stay in the relationship. And unfortunately, a few months after having her son, she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer at only 24 years old. She was terrified, but thankfully they caught it on time, and she was able to make a full recovery. So remember, this whole time she suspected her husband was cheating, but she had no proof. That is until one day her daughter says to her, "Hey mommy, my dad has a cell phone in his car." So she waits for him to go to sleep and goes to the car, and surely enough, she finds the phone and finds all these messages confirming her intuition and suspicion. So having had her cancer scare and realizing he was doing all of this while her life was at jeopardy, this was her last straw. So she said that their split was pretty cordial, and he never really gave her any trouble after they were done. They were able to co-parent very well, and she could always count on him to be there for his children. So soon after that, she met her second husband, Tomás Alberto Tamayo Lizárraga, and they went on to have her 4th child and then twins. So at this point, she had 3 more kids with Tomás. So she was a mother of 6 now. And after her twins, she decided she wanted a tummy tuck to get rid of the loose skin that the pregnancy left her. And after her surgery, she started weight training and blowing up on social media. She really enjoyed inspiring and supporting women, especially mothers. She claimed that she felt she did not get the support she wanted for her influencer career from her husband. She believed it was his insecurities, and all she wanted was to succeed. She wanted more for her and for her children. So at this point, she didn't feel appreciated, and she felt like she couldn't be herself anymore. And according to Gloria's daughter, Tomás was very emotionally, mentally, and verbally abusive to Gloria. Now, Gloria stated that this was something that had been happening for a few years now, but had progressively gotten worse the more successful she became, or the more her social media grew. So once again, here she was feeling like the first time in her first marriage, she was not happy anymore. She felt like she was being held back, and she wasn't being treated how she wanted.
But the moment that you don't treat me good and you don't appreciate who I am, like even my person of who I am, and you don't allow me to be me to my fullest, like I'll eventually get to the point where like, yeah, I'm not appreciated.
Yeah.
Because I hated that's who I am with my first marriage and this one. I hated the fact that I can be submissive to you, and I can be this wonderful woman because I'm a girl. This is my day to day. I go to work, I come home, I take care of my kids, I feed them, I clean. I'm very domestic. Like, I'll clean my household. Like, I'll make sure my shit is clean. I'll make sure that my stuff is organized.
You handle all your responsibilities.
Everything.
And some.
And all I want you to do is treat me like I should be treated.
Yes. And that's
allow me to be me.
And that's already
Don't
hard.
stop me. Don't prevent me from doing things.
She attributed the fact that she didn't really stand up for herself or put her foot down sooner to her childhood trauma and her upbringing, being that, you know, in the Mexican culture, you as a woman are kind of raised to just kind of take it. You just take whatever comes and keep it moving.
When it comes to, that's how I was brought up. I was brought up to where you need to be submissive. You're the woman. You need to handle everything. If your
Don't
man is
speak.
out here, don't speak.
Just take it, basically. Just
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
And she felt had she maybe put her foot down sooner, she could have saved her relationship. But again, she had had enough and it was too late. She knew that once she was checked out, and it didn't matter what Tomas did. She had made up her mind.
Once you're checked out, you're checked
So
out.
I knew that about myself. I knew that I can get to that point, and I would always tell him, if you get me to this point, there's not going to be no way impossible that I'm going to stay with you. So keep pushing me. Keep pushing me. Keep pushing. It's going to take me a while to get there, but I'm going to get there if you continue this path.
Right.
So, and I got there. I got to that point where I was like, I'm done. I'm starting this whole new adventure with this whole fitness, and it's giving me this confidence, you know, and
It's empowering you in many different ways, not just in your outer appearance, but in so many other aspects of life.
Internally, it was like empowering me. And
Her fitness really helped her with her mental health and juggle the stress that came with her day job. She was now a mom of 6, and if you're a mom, you know how much exhaustion and stress comes with that. So her fitness was non-negotiable for her, and clearly this was one of the reasons, according to her, for the problems in their marriage.
around that specific time, which was like a year and a half ago, that's when my whole second marriage started falling apart, because obviously I'm like dedicating time into fitness and trying to grow something and seeing even the opportunity or even thinking that this can even become something, you know? So people started getting insecure and not allowing me to thrive in something that I'm just so passionate about, you know? So I felt like that person was just holding me back. And, you know, I decided to end my second marriage. And that's when a lot of the problems started to were bringing me down mentally, talking about like, yeah, you can't do that. Like, what are you thinking? Like, who do you think you are? You think that you're this fitness influencer all of a sudden? Like, you really think you can do that?
So clearly at this point, their life goals are not aligning anymore. So Gloria decides to end her 16-year marriage.
Yeah, I got to a point where I was like, yeah, we're growing in different paths. This is what I want. You're not supportive. You're not helping me. Instead of you being supportive, you're over here trying to like just bring me down, tell me that I can't do this. You think you're all that? You think you're all that for you to go and work out and think that you can be on social media? Like, come on, man. Like, you're not even all that. Like, look, you have all these stretch marks. Like, really? Do you really think you're all that you can do that?
And according to Gloria, now this is according to what Gloria said. I know there's been reports that have come out stating otherwise, but according to her, she had filed for divorce a year prior, but Tomas didn't want to leave, so they were still living together, I believe, up to 2 weeks before this tragedy happened. Now, in the midst of all of this, Gloria met Hector, a wealthy, successful business owner, and they initially connected in plans to become business partners. They planned to open a gym for women, so it's safe to say that they became very close.
Garduno, a 43-year-old father, a full, very successful businessman. He was the owner of a construction company, owned many luxury cars, and as recently as April bought a very expensive vehicle. So he wasn't shy at all about displaying his wealth and making videos of himself paying for fancy clothes designers.
Obviously, there is speculations as far as what their relationship was, but regardless, that's beyond the point here. Now, like we just said, it is unclear as to when Tomas moved out of the home, but it is alleged that he was actually stalking her, and he went as far as putting a tracking device on her vehicle. It is also alleged that Gloria attempted to file a restraining order, but it was actually denied. And a few days before the tragedy, Gloria went on HERIZON podcast to tell her truth in hopes to inspire other women in her position and give them the courage she had to walk away from a relationship that was just not serving you anymore. So obviously Tomas did not take this very well. He considered Gloria was exposing him, so he went ahead and contacted the HERIZON podcast and other outlets trying to tell his truth. And now Tomas's series of events are very different from those of Gloria's. So if you remember, according to Gloria, Tomas was the one that was abusive, whether that be emotionally, mentally, verbally. But Tomas claimed that it was the other way around. It was actually Gloria the one that was abusive to him. He claims that he suspected Gloria was cheating some time ago, and he attempted to go through her phone, and in her attempts to take her phone away, she physically assaulted him and was even arrested.
She claimed that he had been physically abusive to her, but it seems like it's the other way around, as he was charged on January 11th of 2025 with infliction of corporal injury on spouse or cohabitant, which is basically DV. as you can see from the bottom, charge 273.5A. And allegedly the incident occurred because he was feeling something was wrong, something was going on, and he took her phone to check her phone, and she attacked him and then called the cops on him. Cops came, arrested her because he was all bruised up allegedly.
Sources also claim that in February, Gloria spoke to Tomas about starting an OF to make more money, which obviously did not sit well with Tomas.
George alleges as well that in February she spoke to him about starting an OF because she could make so much money. This is when she started claiming that he was a hater and holding her back, and this was sometime around February.
He claimed that he worked very hard to give her everything she wanted, including paying for her surgeries, which he claims it was more than a tummy tuck.
Allegedly, she was not happy with the way that she appeared, and he paid for all of her enhancements. She claims only a tummy tuck to her fans, but there's actually a list of things, a big one, with the source even going as far to allege that she even had a rib removed, and that's why her waist was so slim.
That she actually had only served him for divorce 2 weeks ago and not a year ago, like Gloria stated, after he had caught Gloria with Hector. But according to Tomas, it was not just a business relationship. Gloria had been cheating with Hector, and that Hector and Gloria were actually taunting him on social media the 2 weeks following the divorce filings.
The husband had already posted that he had caught them together in the early hours of the morning, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, in a car together, where he says, encontré a mi esposa, la fitness influencer Gloria Zamora, dentro de un carro con su amante a las... And he had posted this on his thread. The man was actively taunting him. It is alleged by a close friend of the perpetrator. I mean, this could have all been avoided had all the parties been more considerate of one another. Really, this is a message Tamayo posted after he found them together at night and deleted this shortly after. I would leave it here to keep this short.
And then on June 21st, 2025, at approximately 9:40 p.m., Fontana police officers responded to reports of gunfire in front of a business. It is said that Gloria and Hector were having a business meeting to wrap up the details to the gym they were planning to open, but there's speculations that they were actually on a date. It is assumed Tomas had all of this planned out and had been following Gloria and waiting for them out in the parking lot. So after Gloria and Hector are done with dinner, they proceed to walk to their car in the parking lot, where they're met with Tomas. He then opens fire first at Hector. Gloria obviously gets scared. She attempts to run, but Hector then shoots her 2 times. An off-duty police officer just happened to be driving by the location, and he actually witnessed the shooting, and he confronts Tomas, and ultimately he ends his life. So Gloria and Hector were then transported to a local hospital, but sadly they did not survive their injuries. Now this was on June 21st, and remember, Gloria's birthday was June 25th, and so sad. Her kids had to actually identify her body on her birthday. I can't even imagine how hard that must have been for them, and my thoughts and prayers are definitely with the kids that were left behind and now having to deal with all of this. As far as Hector Garduño, he leaves behind 4 daughters. 4 daughters now have to grow up without their father. Now there's a lot of controversy surrounding this case. A lot of people have come out to defend Tomas and explain or justify, I don't know what they're trying to do, what he did. I really have no words. I mean, if it's true that Gloria cheated, that's wrong, and she shouldn't have done that. She should have left her marriage before proceeding with a new relationship. I don't agree with that if that is true, but regardless, that does not give you the right to take somebody's life. You now left 11 kids without a parent because you were selfish. And if you claim that you were not happy, that you weren't treated right, she was abusing you, she was cheating on you, then you should have left. You deserved better. You should have left her, found yourself something better. You didn't need a woman. You said you were working hard for everything you guys had, so then why did you need somebody there? That's 7 kids now without both parents. And now Hector's 4 daughters are without their dad just because your ego was bruised. And all these people coming out and justifying what he did just because there's speculations. There's a saying, don't make a permanent decision on temporary emotions. And this is definitely what happened to Tomas. Now, nobody is disregarding his feelings. He could have been hurt. He could have felt betrayed. But again, It doesn't justify what you did. You didn't think about your kids. You didn't think about yourself. You deserved better if according to you, that's how things played out. Now, all of you are gone. All these children are left without parents and having to live through the trauma. These grown men commenting on her, calling her all kinds of names because of the way she looked. Gloria might have not been perfect. She could have maybe done what Tomas claimed she did, but that didn't justify what happened to her. And I will never justify it. And this again is a reason why a lot of women and men choose to stay in unhappy marriages or abusive marriages or relationships, because they're scared. And a lot of people claiming that she should have acted differently after they split up. Maybe she could have, but I don't think never in her wildest dreams probably thought that Tomas would have been capable of doing this. Regardless, once they're not together, the divorce is filed. Like, he has no right to tell her who she can and cannot date or be with. I understand. I also understand that the first few months following the end of a marriage or relationship is the most dangerous, statistically proven. So I can see why a lot of people are saying, well, she should have not been so public, not done this, not done that. Yes, maybe. But again, still doesn't justify it, because nobody has a right to take anybody's life just because your ego is hurt, just because you were cheated on. But what do you guys think about this? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and remember to be respectful. You know, we already have all these children having to see so many negative comments about their parents, so please be respectful. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell, share. You know, I really appreciate the support. But thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.